Welcome back, Victor Sanchez, for week number 6 of our Monday morning quarterback clips.
Welcome to week 6 of the Comincher's Top 10 Plays. We are more than halfway through the season, and we hope that these videos and clips have been helpful to everybody. This week we'll be looking at free kick plays. We'll also be looking at some helmet fouls, including targeting, as well as some horse collar tackles. So let's get straight to the plays. Our first play today is going to be an onside kick in a 4-man crew configuration. And we're going to go and let this play through. And you're going to see right here, we have 2 officials at the 40-yard line. One of these officials, either the umpire or the line judge, should be at the 50-yard line, but both of them are at the 40. So that's going to cause some problems on this play because we're not going to be able to judge it accurately. But nonetheless, we'll let it go through. You're going to see that right about here, we do not have official down at the bottom of the screen to be on the 50-yard line to judge whether or not this ball makes it 10 yards or if it's touched by a receiving team player. You can see the ball highlighted there, and you're going to see number 77. He's going to recover this kick, and he's going to recover it right at the 50. And he's going to head on down the field. So let me play that back for you in slow motion. If we had an official there, you would have to rule on this, whether this went 10 yards or did not go 10 yards. So we'll let it play through, and you can see it's a really, really tight play. I think the consensus is that we would rule this that the ball did go 10 and it was legally recovered, and we all know that they cannot advance it, so we want to kill this play immediately and give the ball to the kicking team at the 50-yard line. Our second free kick play today is going to involve 2 fouls on this play. We're going to see a foul for a block in the back and an illegal blindside block. You can see this first foul develop right here, right around the 29-yard line. We're going to get a block in the back. And then this next foul is going to happen right around the 21-yard line with an illegal blindside block. So we have these 2 fouls, and it appears that our referee is looking at this blindside block. We do not get a foul called on this play, but we would like this to be called for an illegal blindside block. This meets the textbook definition of a blindside block. Question is, who can see this block in the back? Probably should be the umpire, if not one of the head linesmen or the line judge. You can see it happens right in the middle of the field out in the open. So we want to make sure that we pick up these fouls. So in your pre-games this week, whether you're working 4-man crews or 5-person crews, make sure that we're looking to see and talking about our coverage areas on free kick plays. Free kick plays are the toughest ones to cover because we have so many moving parts, but we have to be looking into potential action areas and being able to recognize these fouls and get flags on the ground for these fouls. Our next play involves a rather flagrant foul, and we're going to see an sporting act by number 23 on the defense here. I'm going to highlight him right there, and I'm going to play it in slow motion so you can see the action. Look at his right hand. He's going to take a punch to the gut of the offensive player. You can see right there, he strikes him in the gut, and then as we let the play through, you'll see the offensive player double over and fall down. This has nothing to do with football, and when we see this type of action, it needs to be flagged, and number 23 needs to be disqualified from the game. Now, who can see this action? We'd like to see if our umpire can get this. There's a lot going on, but chances are that the umpire has the best opportunity to referee this play and see this illegal act by number 23. So make sure we're using wide vision and keying on our keys and watching player action so we can catch this really dirty play right here. Our next play involves another really dirty act by a defensive player. We're going to take a look at our low cornerback down here at the bottom, and our line judge here is going to have an opportunity to catch this foul, and there's actually 2 fouls on the play, and I'll play the play through so you can see. You're going to see this player strike the opponent with a headbutt and then flex in front of him as he doubles over. Again, I'll play it for you in slow motion. You'll see right at the snap that defensive player is going to come up and he's going to strike the opponent right in the chest, right there with his helmet. The opponent is going to double over, and then you're going to see him flex right there. We get a flag out. The official flagged the taunt, that flex motion. He flagged the taunt. He did not actually see the spearing foul that occurred there. So what we want to do is that make sure that we have wide vision again for these types of actions. This is actually the back judge's key, but as this play develops, you're going to see that this play is going to go away from that side of the field. So the back judge is probably working the middle of the field at this point and really is not looking at that side of the field. So we got to have some wide vision so we can catch these acts. If we do catch them, we need to penalize them accordingly. The player was flagged for taunting. We missed the spearing foul, but that spearing foul, again, could be considered flagrant and warrant an ejection. Our next play involves two fouls and is the subject of some discussion as to what foul should be penalized. We're going to see this defender right here. He's kind of standing even with the ball. He's not on his side of the neutral zone. And as we let the play through, we're going to see that he is still in the neutral zone when the center has his hands on the ball. So technically, he's offside at this point. What's going to make this play even more complex is that if you look at what happens next, this right tackle is not going to get set. And the next thing you're going to see is the ball snapped. And so we technically have two fouls on this play. We have defensive offsides, and then we also have a false start because the offense did not come to a complete set. All players did not come to a complete stop for 1 second. So the discussion becomes here is what do we call, right? What foul do we call? Do we put this on the defense because he's lined up in the neutral zone when the ball is addressed by the center, or do we call this a false start on the offense because they were not set? This is a foul for defensive offsides. Now, we don't want to be overly technical when it comes to addressing defensive offsides at this particular point. If the centers address the ball and the defender's in the neutral zone and the offense is coming up and they do not snap it quickly, we want to give that defensive player a chance to get back on side. And if he doesn't, then we want to shut the play down. But in this case, since he does not get back in time, and the offense does false start, we want to put it on the defense since he is technically fouling first and not call a false start on the offense. This is a tough play, and you got to talk through it because it's going to happen quickly, and we don't see this all the time. So we want to just make sure that we understand our rules for defensive offsides and when the defense is considered offsides, and they're considered offsides when that center addresses the ball. Our next play involves an incorrect call for a illegal man downfield and really emphasizes the importance of making sure that we understand our mechanics and that we're not moving unless we absolutely have to. Again, we talk about moving with purpose, and we're going to see that our head linesman here begins to move early and ends up being in a bad position to help out on this call. The umpire flags for illegal man downfield, but you're going to see as this play develops that it is not an illegal man downfield foul. So we're going to start first by looking at our line of scrimmage. We're snapping at the 25-yard line. Our head linesman has the line of scrimmage based on the keys. Our back judge would have the widest receiver on this side. We would have the two inside receivers as keys. We're going to see the play develop. And right at this point, the quarterback has released the ball. We see our lineman down at about 5 yards downfield, right in front of the umpire. Pretty hard not to miss the big guys down in front of him when the pass is released. So the umpire is going to drop the flag for illegal man downfield. But you can see our head lineman has already taken a step away from the 25-yard line. He's probably about the 24.5. And by the time this ball's touched right at the line of scrimmage, our head linesman is at least a yard beyond the line of scrimmage, putting him in not a good position to judge whether or not this ball was touched beyond that line of scrimmage. So therefore, we have a flag for illegal man downfield. We have incorrect mechanic because we moved too soon and had no reason to really move. If we go back to the beginning of this play, we're going to see the two keys that the head linesman has to worry about really are never threatened. Both of them are going to run out, and there's no need to move. They are not even 5 yards down the field. So why we move? Because we feel we have to? I don't understand. We want to hold our positions because right here we're going to miss a call for illegal man downfield. We're going to incorrectly call illegal man downfield, and we're going to negate what is an excellently executed play by the offense. So we need to get better at making sure we're holding our position and understanding our responsibilities, especially when it comes to the line of scrimmage. Our next play is going to involve a potential targeting foul and involve a defenseless receiver. We want to keep our focus on the slot receiver circled here and the defender directly across from him on this play. We're going to have a forward pass. He's going to catch this ball right around the 40-yard line, and then he's going to get hit. Play it back for you one more time. We have forward pass, catch, and then he's going to be hit. So now the question is, do we have a defenseless player? Let's put this in a little bit of slow motion. As we see here, the receiver, he's going to go up. He has the ball in his control. He's got a body part down. And now he has to complete an act common to the game for him no longer to be a defenseless player. And so at this point, he's still trying to regain his balance when he's contacted by the defender. So we do not have a runner at this point. We still have a defenseless player, a receiver in the act of completing the catch. So that being said, let's look at the contact by the defender. If we look, the defender is leading with his head, makes contact above the head and neck area. Now he finishes with two arms pushing forward, and so it doesn't look as bad as it probably is, but we want to say that this is a targeting foul. This is a defenseless player. He has not had time to regain his balance or commit an act common to the game. He has possession, body part down, but he is still trying to get his balance. He gets contacted in the head by the crown of the helmet of the attacking defender and is then taken to the ground. We would support a targeting foul on this play. Our next play involves an illegal block below the waist. We're going to see the action by the left tackle and the left defensive end. And you're going to see the left tackle reach out and block below the waist against that defensive end. Now, he is lined up in the free blocking zone, but he is only allowed to block below the waist on his initial charge. And this is not the initial charge, this is the second act, and therefore this is a foul for illegal block below the waist by NFHS rules. Now, coaches may argue this because they may be looking at games on Saturday and Sunday at the college and pro levels. In the college and pro levels, this is a legal block, but in high school this is not considered the initial charge, and therefore this is a block below the waist and should be called for a foul. Our next play is going to be an example of what we want called for a horse collar tackle. For a long time, it has always been thought that the horse collar tackle involved the player being brought backwards. The rule actually states that as long as the player is pulled back and goes to the ground, you have a foul for a horse collar tackle. We'll let this play through, and you can see as this develops, when the defender grabs the back of the runner's jersey and pulls him, you're going to see him buckle back, and then he's going to spin him and take him to the ground. So you can see right there, you definitely have a buckle. Sorry about that. You definitely are going to have a buckle, and then he's going to spin him to the ground. So we want to make sure is that when we're watching this play, you're going to see him pull him back, pull him down to the ground. Want to make sure that we get this called for a horse collar tackle. buckles him, pulls him to the ground. That is a foul for a horse collar tackle. See another example of a horse collar tackle. This one is more of a textbook horse collar tackle, or pass is going to be caught up the middle, runner at the hash, and is going to be pulled down by the nameplate. Now some may argue at this point he doesn't have the nameplate, he has the numbers, but it's close enough that it's dangerous play, pulls him back from behind, and we get it correctly flagged for a horse collar tackle. Great work on this play by our umpire in the back judge. Our third and final horse collar tackle of the night. You see the ball carrier here, he's running to the outside. He's going to make his way up the sideline, and then you're going to see a clear grab and pull from behind. Very dangerous play. Going to play one more time. And you'll see him get pulled from behind. Inside the shoulder pads, pulls him down, rolls up on the legs. Very dangerous, very hazardous. Want to get this called every time for a horse collar tackle. Bonus play number 1 this week involves goal line mechanics, and we really need to make sure that we are at the goal line when we are near the goal line, especially when we're inside the 5. Wing officials, if we're snapping at the 5 and in, we want you to go directly to the goal line and referee backwards from there. We're going to see on this play, as number 31's approaching the pylon, we don't have anyone at the goal line. Our head linesman is actually back about the 5-yard line where the ball was snapped. And so you're going to see as he gets to the pylon, he really doesn't have any way to tell if the runner was inside, outside, if this is or is not a touchdown. So we want to get down to the goal line whenever the ball is snapped at the 5, get down to the goal line and start wide. That down marker is way too close. Move them back 6 feet, move them back 12 feet, move them back as far as you need so you can work safely and you can work the space and get there and officiate the play effectively. Bonus play 2 today, again, is a goal line mechanics play. This time we're snapping outside of the 5, and we know that the line of scrimmage officials have goal line responsibility from the 15 and in, so this makes it a little more difficult. We don't want you going directly to the goal line when we're outside of the 5, but we do want you to get there, so you have to read the play, and I would suggest that if you're the line of scrimmage official and you are on the hash mark, snapping the ball on the hash mark closest to you, once you recognize sweep, you need to get to the goal line and pregame with your umpire and pregame with your referee that in these particular situations, if sweep is coming your way, you're not there for blocks anymore. You're there to get to the goal line and be able to judge on whether or not the ball is a touchdown. It's a touchdown scored or not. So as we let this play develop, you're going to see some other things that we have to take care of at this point too. So you see where our official is. He's standing right about the 7-yard line, 8-yard line where the ball was snapped. But we have all these spectators and we have a 10-yard marker there. We need to get these people back. They need to be off the field. Talk to your game administration before the game to make sure that this area is clear so that way you can be wide, like I said in the previous play, 6 to 12 feet off the sideline. And then once you read sweep, just get down to the goal line, because as you see this play develop, did he make it? Did he not make it? We really can't tell. We have no idea what he did. Now our other side of the line of scrimmage might be there to help us, but that is a 50-yard call from 50 yards away. Very difficult call to make. So clear your sidelines, talk to game administration, make sure those sidelines are cleared. Spectators need to be in the stands. If you have media, make sure media is on the track or off the green, and make sure you can work comfortably and safely so we can effectively officiate plays like this.
Thank you for watching this week's Quarterback Clips. Just a reminder, if you would like to improve your exam score, Part 2 is still open. If you've not completed Part 1, please get that done this week. Have a great week.